So, the movie begins with a girl removing bandages from her body after plastic surgery. This was Liliko, who had undergone surgery not just on her face but on her entire body to look beautiful. Meanwhile, we see a police officer, Mr. He and his assistant were discussing Liliko. Liliko had undergone the surgery to gain fame, to become famous. People didn't know that Liliko's body and face weren't real. But Mr. Asa knew this. He tells his assistant, "I never found Liliko's bones and muscle movement to be the same. Clearly, she has undergone numerous surgeries, and her beauty is like that of a fruit that looks beautiful on the outside but rotten on the inside." In the next scene, we see Liliko at a press conference. She looked extremely happy. Many major TV channels had gathered there to cover the news, as Liliko was about to make her first film. Well, after this press conference, we are shown Liliko in her dressing room, with her makeup artist and assistant. Meanwhile, her friend, with whom she becomes very close, arrives. Consequently, the assistant and makeup artist leave the room. Liliko also stays with her producer that night, wanting him to tell his director that he wants to make another film with her. After they leave, Liliko is delighted with her face in the mirror when she notices a dark spot on her head. Her makeup artist also noticed this scar. He also confronts his producer about it. The producer explains that the spot is a side effect of Liliko's surgeries. These surgeries were all performed by the producer himself, with the intention of making Liliko beautiful and using her beauty to generate revenue for his company. To keep this secret, the producer even gives the makeup artist one of her precious rings, saying, "I know you'll take good care of it." He had to take care of the secret, not the ring. The producer also revealed another shocking fact. Not only Liliko's face but every part of her body was fake. The only real parts of her body were her eyes and private parts. The next day, the producer sends Liliko back to the hospital to have her scar treated. At the clinic, Eli notices that other girls have come in, losing control of themselves because the side effects of the surgeries have made their bodies look even uglier, and the doctors are unable to fix them. Before Liliko can go and talk to the girl, the doctors call Liliko in. Meanwhile, we are shown Mr. Asa, who is investigating the case of a girl named Ngomi, whose dead body was found in a disfigured state in his apartment. Asada tells his colleague that the girl's ex-husband works for the same beauty clinic we've been following. These clinics illegally use human organs, bones, and skin in their surgeries, and most of the surgeries are for aesthetic purposes. And these surgeries charge exorbitant fees. Furthermore, even after these surgeries, lakhs of rupees worth of medication are required every month to maintain normal body health. If someone can't afford them, they face devastating side effects. Some girls even take their own lives because of this, as we see this outcome unfold. Asada's colleagues were perplexed as to why these poor girls would resort to such drastic measures. In the next scene, we are again shown Liliko, who was a part of every other photoshoot. She had so many contracts and so much work that she couldn't even get enough sleep. But for money and fame, she hid her worries and everything else. And she reaped the rewards. Almost every magazine featured her photo on its cover, and they sold out quickly. Millions of people became Liliko's fans. Liliko even received film offers from Hollywood. One day, while Liliko was returning home from her busy schedule with her assistant, Michiko, she asked, "Why don't you wear makeup?" Michiko replied, "It's useless. Makeup won't hide my advancing age." Michiko had said this without thinking. But for Liliko, it became a significant thought. It was obvious. Surgeries won't hide her advancing age and she'll likely lose work as she ages. This thought makes Liliko feel deeply depressed. She even thinks she wishes she had someone who truly loved her. She comforts her by saying, "Millions of people love you," but Liliko tells her, "I don't have anyone who truly loves me." While she's thinking, she's sitting in front of a mirror. As she brushes her hair away, she sees that the scar on her head has deepened. When she wipes off her makeup, she sees even more scars on her face, and the sight of them makes her cry. She fears that if these scars, or the truth about her beauty thanks to surgery, become public knowledge, people will hate her. The very millions who once admired her will start gossiping about her. In her anger and grief, she even becomes quite abusive towards Mitiko. In the morning, she finds that Mitiko isn't at home. She received a card from her sister at home, informing her that she was also in town on a school trip and wanted to meet her. Liliko's mother immediately wanted to meet her, as she too was missing her family and seeing her sister after years. Liliko's sister tells her about her many problems, including that no one likes her and that everyone bullies her. Liliko advises her to undergo surgery, saying she will cover the entire cost. After leaving, Liliko goes back to her beauty clinic, as she noticed the previous night that she had more scars on her body. The doctor notices that her skin has begun to loosen and needs to be tightened. Therefore, the doctor decides to perform another surgery which looks more like a facial stitch than a surgery. Liliko's face was marked with scars, and the operation was being performed without anesthesia. Her skin was being tightened with needles and Liliko was experiencing immense pain. The doctor then tells her, "You'll have to endure this pain, lady. Don't you remember? No one knew you before this pain. These surgeries have shaped you. You are who you are today because of them." Hearing this, poor Liliko says nothing, undergoes a painful cold treatment and immediately returns to a new show. At this moment, Mr. Rasada is also watching her show. From her tone, he understands that Liliko has undergone another procedure. He tells his assistant that it's time to expose Liliko as well. Meanwhile, when Liliko's producer learns that Liliko is sending money to her sister, she explains that she can't send much money home. Liliko's beauty treatments are extremely costly, and from then on, Liliko will have to pay for her own beauty treatments. The producers and company have already invested all they could on Liliko. Now they've brought in a new model who is even more beautiful than Liliko. Her beauty being natural makes her a hit. More than half of the photo shoots Liliko used to get are now going to the new model. She gets numerous ads, movies, and appears on the covers of more than half of the magazines. All of this leaves Liliko deeply depressed and she resorts to substances to cope. In the midst of all this bad time, she receives yet another piece of bad news. Her friend has left her and is engaged to a politician's daughter. Hearing this, Lily is devastated and the man shamelessly tells her, "It was just your misconception that I would marry a mere model like you." Liliko is now furious and a new plan begins to play out in her mind. So she personally visits her assistant, Michiko, and discovers that Miko was with her husband at the time. He had probably just gotten out of the shower. Liliko approaches her, asks her permission to kiss her and then asks her, "Will you come close to me?" For some reason the boy hadn't agreed. Perhaps it was because Lily was so famous. She pushes herself to the limit even in front of Michiko. Michiko is devastated by the sight of her husband with another woman. She couldn't stop herself from doing this because she was afraid Liliko might fire her. Anyway, the next day, Liliko calls this couple to her house for an important task. Liliko manipulates them saying, "I know you both love me very much and would do anything for me. But I only want one small task done. You have to throw acid on a girl's face so that her beauty is destroyed and she burns to death." They agree, and before completing the mission, Liliko asks them to come closer to her. Poor Michiko, just for the sake of her job, was doing all the bad things Liliko asked her to do, which she didn't even want to do. The next day, when her makeup artist was getting Liliko ready, he noticed strange, large black spots on Liliko's waist. He realized that these were side effects of her beauty procedures, so he didn't say anything. He even sends his assistant out of the room and later secretly tells the producer, who tells him not to worry. "I feel like this is Liliko's last day in the industry." Meanwhile, Michiko and her husband also burn the face of the politician's daughter with acid, whom Liliko's friend was about to marry. After this, Michiko and her husband cry profusely. All of this has one advantage: Liliko's goal is accomplished. Liliko's friend returns to her. When Liliko questions him about her crush, instead of telling the truth, the young man says, "I never had any interest in politics. I want to become famous like you." Thus, the distance between them narrows again. The next day we are shown that Mr. Sada has come to meet Liliko. He tells Liko that deceiving people is a crime. "Who have I deceived?" Liko asks, "Who have I deceived?" Rasada says without hesitation, "Your beauty is fake and that's what you've deceived everyone with. When your truth is revealed, people won't even spit on you. And the beauty clinic you're interested in is also illegal." He explains that the clinic exploits women's obsession with beauty. They then administer illegal medicines and treatments that make them look beautiful but slowly lead them to death. "I'd suggest you get out of their trap even now." Liko replies, "What's the point of telling him all this? What do I have to do with all this?" Then laughing, Mr. Sada hands her all the evidence he has. He knows everything about how Lily looked before and how she looked after the surgeries. Asa also explains, "That's not all I know. I also know that the politician's daughter's face was also burned because of you and that Mr. Asa had all the evidence of this crime." Hearing all this, Liliko was terrified for a moment. She snatched the evidence file from his hand and left. Upon returning home, she opened the evidence file and discovered that Mr. Anata was telling the truth. Inside the file were old photos of Liliko when she looked very fat and ugly. Liliko became panicked again, worried about what would happen if the truth was revealed. To calm herself down, she injected herself with another substance. When she woke up in the morning, she was still high. She saw Michiko making breakfast for her. She turned on the TV and discovered another shocking news. The advertisement she used to be in earlier had already been changed. Today too, a new model had replaced her in that ad. This drives her crazy and she tasks Michiko with burning her face with acid just like before. Michiko was terrified but couldn't respond. Seeing the same model on stage at Liliko's press conference today, Liliko's confidence plummets. To regain her composure, she goes to the washroom and injects herself with another substance. Now, because she had used substances the previous night and had injected herself again before the previous substance had worn off, she begins to have actual hallucinations. She sees butterflies flying all over the stage which she tries to catch. She loses control and acts strangely. The press conference is completely ruined. Everyone takes pictures of her abnormal behavior, and the next day her newspapers and magazines are filled with reports of her strange antics. In the background, when Michiko goes to carry out her plan to end the other model, she sees the other model also very sad. Omi tells Chico that models like us are used as sex machines. As long as we have our face, our youth, we're made to make money and then we're discarded. Hearing this, Michiko becomes emotional and is unable to complete her work. The next morning, when Liliko wakes up, she has a severe headache and is vomiting. Michiko comes to her aid and she angrily asks, "Is my work done?" Michiko tells her, "I couldn't do your work." Hearing this, Liliko becomes so enraged that she slaps Michiko and storms out of her house to go work. It was raining outside and she hadn't even noticed. Inside the room, Michiko found all the evidence against Liliko that Mr. Asa had left her. To avenge her slap and all the abuse she'd suffered, Michi sent this evidence to major press outlets. Secrets so big they didn't take long to go viral. One after another, evidence against Liliko was plastered across the internet. Everyone was talking about her and had begun to hate her. The day Liliko had dreaded had arrived, but she had no idea it would come so soon. At this moment, there were numerous news anchors outside Liliko's house, eager to question her about her surgeries. But Liliko wouldn't open the door. As her depression grew, the scars on her body also grew more numerous. On the other hand, we see Mr. Asa, who is suspended by the police because he leaked information about the beauty clinic without authorization or permission. By doing so, he gave the beauty clinic owners a chance to cover their tracks, but the police wanted to arrest them before they even had the opportunity. The advertising company that introduced Liliko to the industry also faces increased pressure to answer questions. Eventually, they are forced to hold a press conference and the producer explains to Liliko, "I've written a script for you. Memorize every word of it. You won't speak anything other than this script. Our lawyer will handle everything else." Liliko's company's reputation had also suffered greatly because of her. After his departure, a makeup artist arrives, who conceals all of Liliko's scars with makeup. After that, Liliko enters the press conference. Liliko knew no one would believe her and no one liked her anymore. To make her press conference memorable, Liliko arrived with a knife in her hand and stabbed herself in the eye in front of everyone, her action making her last magazine cover even more popular. Whatever had happened, Liliko's career was ruined, and the beauty clinic that had ruined her career wasn't even mentioned much, nor was it closed. We see Mr. Asanda and his assistant walking down the street. A girl approaches them asking for an address. The girl seemed familiar to them. Asanda tells his assistant that this girl is Liliko's sister, who also underwent surgery. The beauty clinic wasn't closed despite its illegal activities because it was in demand. We're then shown the model who replaced Liliko. She was the talk of the town. As she returns to her room after finishing her work, she sees someone sitting on her chair. As the chair turns, we see it's none other than Lily, who smiles at the new bottle. And here the movie ends with the mystery of why Lily came to him one last time. Was she trying to vent her anger over the end of her career by ending him? Or was she seeking revenge for him taking everything away from her? Why do you think Liliko came back? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Movo Reels, where every movie tells its story again.